So, we had a lot of Canadian stuff to talk about. We got a lot of Canucks stuff too, and these are all kind of like smaller stories, so I felt like combining them into one video was appropriate here. But today we're diving into some of the Canucks injury updates, we're diving into some records that could be on the horizon of being broken, and we're also talking about expectations and reality. So, let's start things off by talking about the injuries. Let's talk about the injuries first. That's actually a pretty good way to go about it, because yesterday we had ourselves a video clip posted by Frank Seravalli of the Vancouver Canucks practice, and Thatcher Demko was out there. He was grinding away after an optional morning skate in Chicago. Now, a companion piece here on dailyfaceoff.com. This was published by Shane Sennecke earlier this morning. Thatcher Demko's return to the Vancouver Canucks could still be a while away. This, of course, is building off of the video that we had seen yesterday, but the article goes out there and talks about this. On Wednesday's episode of Daily Faceoff Live, Tyler Yakemchuk and Frank Seravalli discussed the Canucks crease and provided the latest on when Demko could be returning to Vancouver's lineup. Frank, you mentioned that Thatcher Demko was skating and getting in work for the Canucks the other day. His return? Smoke? Fire? False alarm? Are we still a ways away? Seravalli said, "We are still probably a ways away. I think the easiest way to explain it is the Vancouver Canucks are leaving this into Thatcher Demko's hands to tell them when he's comfortable to return. Watched him on the ice on Tuesday, well after their optional morning skate. I posted the video. He was essentially planted in the crease on one knee. He did this on both sides. There was a coach in the corner on either side and a bungee cord, and they were basically trying to pull him out of the crease. It was his job to essentially stabilize himself. And I can confirm that's pretty much what you're seeing in the video. He's got the bungee cord attached to him and they're trying to pull him out of the crease. Interesting goaltender drill, honestly. Like, I don't know anything about goaltending, so it's interesting for me to learn about this stuff. Seravalli then responds, "Stability is the key word when it comes to this rehab. It's such a weird injury. He hasn't been able to find that stability in his knee with this popliteus muscle behind it. That has caused him some discomfort. I think the nice thing for the Canucks is that the way Lankinen has played, a .941 save percentage so far, he's basically supplanted Artur Silayev as the guy the Canucks are probably going to let run with the ball here. They're not forced to bring him back or try to push this Demko thing. They can give him all the time that he needs." For more on the Canucks start and the latest buzz from the NHL's Frozen Frenzy, watch the latest episode of the Daily Faceoff Live show. Okay, it's going to be there. Link is going to be in the description if you want to see more about Frank Seravalli and Thatcher Demko, but it is nice to know that he is there, and he's still kicking around, he's still trying to recover, and that at the end of the day, it's going to boil down to whether or not he himself is ready, not trying to subject him to any sort of hard set timeline. Because last time we had ourselves a timeline, everybody got disappointed. Hey, Demko should have been available for the third round series against the Stars, but he ended up not getting that. Now, we have ourselves more from Frank Seravalli. He also said this about Dakota Joshua yesterday. It sounds like he's 1 to 2 weeks away from making his season debut in Vancouver. And thinking about that, the Vancouver Canucks have already started to win. We're seeing some hard dogs on the forecheck like Kiefer Sherwood. Imagine Dakota Joshua going out there and doing the same thing. Now, I'm not saying that I want to see Dakota Joshua make his return to the Vancouver Canucks lineup as a center, but I am starting to wonder, what if the Vancouver Canucks decided, hey, Dakota Joshua has played center before. What if the Canucks tried to put Joshua, Sherwood, and Garland together on some sort of a line? Obviously, that'd be unlikely because Connor Garland has found himself a good spot with Elias Pettersson. Kiefer Sherwood has been doing some really good things with Danton Heinen and Teddy Blueger. You don't want to mess up with the mojo here, but Dakota Joshua is a really big add for this team, and hearing that we might have to wait only a week or two to see him suit up for the Vancouver Canucks again is really great news. The guy had cancer, for crying out loud, and now he's a week or two back from returning? What a crazy recovery there. I know it's already been a few weeks and we've been waiting on this for a while, but still, the recovery from cancer and being able to detect it early, it's very fortunate and awesome that Dakota Joshua is in this position here, and if he's able to come back with that same bite, that same swagger that he's carried over the past year and a bit, then we could be really seeing something special here with this Vancouver Canucks forward core. You take out Artyom Bains, you leave everybody else in there, and you mix and match the lines a little bit, there could be some huge benefits to what it is this team is going to provide. Heck, I'm starting to think maybe play Joshua and Garland with Elias Pettersson, keep the Sherwood, Blueger, Heinen line together, have Miller and Boeser with Hoggy or something? I don't really know. There are a lot of options here. There are a lot of great forwards on this team, and that's not even including Daniel Sprong. Anyways, moving over to some other news with the Vancouver Canucks, I wanted to talk about Kiefer Sherwood, because there was an article published on CanucksDaily.com by Maverick Mitchell that goes out there and highlights Kiefer Sherwood's dominance so far early on this season. Now, we did make the video yesterday going over Sherwood and his profile, but that physical edge that he brings has been so amazing to watch. And yesterday, in the Canucks game versus Chicago, Kiefer Sherwood had 6 hits by the end of the first period. He ended off the game with 12 total. Now, let's go over to the Canucks Daily article. They used some quotes from Sherwood's article interview with the NHL a few days ago. "I try to have a hunter mentality and simply just want the hunt for the puck," Sherwood said of his forechecking approach. "It's a lot about reading the opposition's positioning and seeing where I can try to outnumber guys." Sherwood currently leads the NHL in hits with 44 and is in position to challenge for the all-time single-season record of 383 hits set by Jeremy Lauzon in 2023-2024. At his current pace of 7.33 hits per game, he has a real shot at breaking the record set by Lauzon. The pace equals out to 601 hits by the end of the season, and to be realistic, it seems unlikely he'll hit the 600 mark, but he can well surpass 383. Sherwood then spoke out about his love for physical play and why it's an important aspect of the Canucks system. "The physical part is nice for me," said Sherwood, who finished 15th in the NHL last year with 234 hits. "I like to get a lot of hits and wear their defense down, but the puck is the priority, so that's kind of been more my reflection over the past few games. I'm trying to get to the puck first and disrupt a body with hits to start wearing teams down when they're starting a possession." And the Vancouver Canucks are absolutely stoked to have this guy too, because firstly, he's been a monster for me in fantasy with the multiple assists and the goal and the hits and whatnot, but also the fact that Jeremy Lauzon had the best hitting season ever last year with Nashville, and you also had Sherwood on that same team. It's kind of nuts, especially when you consider now Sherwood in a more forechecking heavy role is in a spot to potentially take over that #1 all-time hit spot per season if he's able to accumulate more to overtake 383. He's got 44 right now. What more do you want out of this guy? Assuming he stays healthy and assuming he stays in the lineup, there's a very realistic chance that he could break 383. He's already, 44 divvy 383. He's already 10% of the way there. Just gotta continue on this pace. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about with the Vancouver Canucks was in regards to the scorers, the guys who are already here. I wanted to talk about Brock Boeser because earlier this week we had ourselves an article published by Daniel Wagner, Boeser's scoring 50 goals and other conclusions to jump to. Great piece, Wags always does a good job, and I wanted to talk about this because a few videos ago, we spoke about how Patrik Allvin called Brock Boeser out for not scoring 50 goals on the season. One of the predictions that Wags has in this article is that Brock Boeser is going to crush his career highs, which he achieved last year, 40 goals, 73 points in 81 games. The article then brings up the same comments that we had made earlier on in the year. For now, his main focus is to come back here and play to the level that he showed last year and be even more consistent, said Allvin, when the Athletic's Thomas Trance asked him about Boeser being in a contract year. "I told Brock," Allvin said, "that he could have scored 50 goals, but I felt that he took his foot off the gas when he scored 30. Boeser agreed. "I think I could have had 52, said Boeser. Not 52, like 5-2. 50 as well, he's saying. "I had 4 disallowed and I got cold there for a little bit. That's the thing, it's hard to be consistent in this league. That's why there's not many 50 goal scorers or 100-point guys. It gets hard to stay consistent all year. That's one thing I think I'm focused on this year, making sure I'm bringing it every single night." Now, I don't necessarily think Wags is saying Boeser is going to get 50, but with Allvin saying that, hey, Brock could have had 50 last year, and Boeser himself saying, yeah, I could have had 50 last year as well, and right now, Boeser being at a pace of 55 goals for 82 games played, everything's looking pretty good, man. Who knows if he's able to hit it? So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about all the stuff that we had talked about with the Vancouver Canucks. Thatcher Demko, Dakota Joshua, Kiefer Sherwood, Brock Boeser. There's a lot to go over, and I didn't want to make an 8-9 minute video about every single one of these, so I wanted to put it all here together. Articles are going to be linked in the description. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.